So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this series. You might want to watch it from the beginning so that it makes sense and so that you can understand a lot of things that nobody tells you. And so grab your coffee and enjoy. And this one in particular, I'm going to stop probably around 1/3 of this video. And then I'm going to ask you if you like ignorance is bliss, or will you rather just not know? Because I'm going to try to explain you a background, something that you have to understand, because otherwise this is not going to make any kind of sense. And in fact, you will understand a lot of things, after I explain the background. And with the background, then you will clear your head, and with that, you will be able to see the information. However, when I say ignorance is bliss, if you get the information directly and you did not understand the background or something, the emotional impact of certain news or certain things, it will be so hard to understand or to believe, or to it will make you not even look for the actual facts, or it will just kind of blind you towards almost anything that is being said. And so if you understand this background that I'm going to tell you, then you will understand a lot of things, and then you will be able to react to them better. And so after I say ignorance is bliss, then choose whether you want to continue on the video or not, because at that point you will be faced with something so like, what? No, that's just not possible, or no. I mean, yeah. So choose wisely. Now, if you wanted to share a coffee with me while you're at it, links for that down below. And if you wanted to take a look at any of my books, links for that down below also. So, have you ever wondered why in the whole world, humans have the longest time in which babies cannot live on their own? So let me explain this one. Let's say that you are a dog, okay? So as soon as the puppies are born, the mother can take care of the puppies for maybe a month and a half or so. And then the puppies are able to move and to do a lot of things on their own. In nature, this is, I think it's even shorter time. And cats are even shorter. And let's say that you are, looking at other animals. I mean, every time that you get a birth, animals just have their own life kind of fast compared to other animals. Except for some marsupials like the kangaroos and others, in which, the babies stay next to the mother for a long time, which is usually a year and a half, sometimes 2 years. The amount of, if you were to compare that to a humans, there are people that are adults, as in they are 30 years old and they are still living with their mothers or living with their fathers. And we are very weird in that aspect, because you have teens who are 14, 15, and they are still living with you. And even legally, they cannot be considered adults until they are 18. So if you consider the fact that, average life was about 50, or 60 years old, come on, you are talking about 1/3 of your life living with your kids. That's a very long time. And the kids usually cannot, feed themselves or be alone, even, for several years. Unless you are in Japan or something like that, in which you are a kid and you probably already know a lot of things that even adults in other countries do not know. Then you're basically, living out of your mother for the first 10 years of your life, at the bare minimum. You cannot do anything to survive alone when you are 10, because you cannot work and you cannot do a lot of things. Then you will need to go into foster care and a lot of things, because you cannot depend upon yourself. So, question: why, if we are so smart, and why, if we are so good, and why, if kids can learn how to walk and how to talk by the age of 5, they already know how to do these things, then how come they are not independent until they are even a teen? Well, there are a lot of reasons why, but I'm going to try to explain to you one that is extremely important, and I'm going to tell it to you through two stories actually. So the first one is when Jesus Christ says that, the heavens will belong to the children. Now, he's not saying that you are an adult and you should be a kid. No. What he's saying is that you should have the perspective of a kid. And I'm going to explain that in a few seconds. But keep this in mind. Even Jesus says heaven. And remember, heaven is a place in which you are free. And if in this place you are free, and Jesus Christ says that in order for you to be free, you needed the truth, because truth will set you free, then kids, by definition, cannot lie. I'm going to say that again so that you can follow. Jesus says, kids are going to go to heaven. Heaven is where you get freedom. Heaven is not the place that you are a guy, so you will get like 1,000 virgins and then you will have sex all over the place or things like that. No. Heaven is a place in which you are free. Free from a lot of things. And free means you are, by definition, not being lied to. And by definition, you also are not lying. So by definition, these two things are important to understand a lot of things. Because when you are a teen, or when you are an adult, you live in a place called hell. Even if you are on earth. Why? Because teens start lying to people. You start lying to other people and you start lying to yourself. And so you cannot be in heaven because you stopped being honest. And as an adult, you have not been honest with yourself. And this is an emotional process, and it's an emotional growth, and it's about you understanding when to be honest and when not to be honest, or how to accomplish this thing, which is another topic. But the point is that adults lie, and you need images. In this place that we have, every teen and every adult cannot, by definition, think like a 5-year-old who is completely honest, because we depend upon images, and we depend upon social ranking, and we depend upon so many freaking things that it's insane try to even name them. So basically, we depend upon lying to each other or lying to whatever. It is extremely hard. And even if you're considering that, no, I don't lie, well, at least you are concealing information. And this one is important because people cannot survive by concealing information. A 5-year-old cannot conceal information because if they do it, then they might actually die. because they might have eaten a pill that, your medication or something, and they might be dead by eating that. So they need to tell you, because otherwise you cannot help them. But you are the adult, you are the one who is making these decisions. So how could you make these decisions? Oh, that's because you already know how to lie. So we are learning about the truth by understanding what is lying and things like that, which is the shadow process. The light process goes to 7-year-olds and less. Babies and 7-year-olds, those are light processes. 8-year-old and more, we are going into the shadows and we are going for a ride in terms of being honest and things like that. Now, we still though think that everything is okay and we still need safety. So we need certain sensation, certain things and stability, and that's why we rely upon money, status, friends, family, and all these kind of things, which kids do not necessarily do. So it's two different kind of settings for a 5-year-old versus a teen versus an adult. The settings are entirely different. And so this is important to understand. The second example is for... Sorry, I got interrupted. So the second example is the story of the Emperor's New Groove. And then I'm going to try to take you to understand this. Not from the perspective of religion or beliefs, but from the perspective of a story. So there is a king. This king relies upon image about abundance and prosperity. So he wants everybody to know that his kingdom is extremely wealthy, even though that they are not, or they are, but maybe they are not. And the point is that the guy understands that in order for you to try to get the best deals or everything else, then you need to fake it until you make it. So this king always wears something entirely new. And so he has to invent colors and he has to invent all kinds of anything. And so basically, this tells you that if you need something so bad, and this thing is just, limited to a very few people, then you can be fooled really bad. So this king was fooled by someone that said, I have the best clothing material, but you will not see the color and you will not see anything unless you are smart. If you are smart, you will be able to see it. If you are dumb, you will not be able to see it. So the king said to himself, okay, I don't see anything. See, here is where he is an adult. He is not going to let anybody know that he's stupid or that he doesn't get it. So he will go, oh, by the way, this means that also he's an idiot because he's not being honest. So he made himself a suit out of this material, which ended up being nothing. So he went to the kingdom and he went to a banquet and he went to a lot of people saying, he was naked, and then he said, if you do not see my clothing, it's because you're stupid. And so, of course, at this point, everybody is just saying, okay, I'm not going to say I'm stupid. So are those clothing good? Yes, they are. They're cool. And don't you like this? And and then people will just fake it. And this happened for the whole day until a 5-year-old. By the way, we do not consider kids stupid. Really, it is. We have never considered kids to be stupid. We consider kids to be ignorant, which is completely different. A kid will be ignorant by definition, period. It's because it is a kid, they are not supposed to know. If you're an adult and you're ignorant, then you're stupid. Okay? That is just how the world works, kind of thing. You cannot tell a kid that is stupid because it is a kid. They are not supposed to know anything. They are not supposed to know that, if you place your finger or anything inside a socket, you might die of electricity. Or if you take medication that you're not supposed to take, you might die of poisoning and things like that. That is called, ignorance. But if you're an adult, you are supposed to know all these things because you somehow survived being a kid. And if you survive, you already know that you're not supposed to put your hand in fire because you will get burned. You already know that you're not supposed to launch yourself into water if you do not know how to swim because you will drown and things like that. That is called being an adult. And so, we have a lot of things, of differences. So we never say that a kid is stupid. And this kid showed up. And the kid says, the emperor is naked. Here is the emotional impact. Nobody, until the kid showed up, nobody said that the emperor was naked. Not one person. Everybody was afraid of actually being stupid. Nobody. But the kid understood that there was no clothing. But what is the difference between the 5-year-old who is telling the truth and the adults? Oh yeah, the difference is that the adults we will believe anything, or we will keep the lie because is how things work. But the kids, they don't have to do anything because the kids is like, yeah, I don't care if I'm stupid, my mom will still love me, and things like that. So the kid did that. The kid broke the lie. And so having kids around is one of the things that you need because kids will always simplify things and they will always be honest. And that is why kids who are 7 or less are, considered to be mean and they can take you down emotionally because they are extremely honest. And when they say something like, I love you, they mean it. And when they say something like, I hate you, they actually also kind of mean it. And they are learning to express emotions and they don't care. They don't have boundaries. That's why, they even fight with other kids, but 5 minutes later, they use makeup and they don't care. If there wasn't because of the adults, messing around with each other or meddling and stuff like that, then you would probably have wars that start in the shortest wars in ever, they will be fought by children. They will go, okay, I'm mad at you. 5 minutes later, okay, I love you, so I'm sharing with you. 5 minutes later, oh yeah, it's war. 2 minutes later, oh yeah, we're playing together. Yeah, if you want to understand emotions, you should probably be, around kids. Oh my God, they will drain you entirely. That's why being around kids sometimes it feels like heavy on you. It will take a huge toll to try to even cope with them. And so here I'm going to try to explain to you a situation. And then I'm going to tell you what the first 3 questions that a 5-year-old will make. And with this, you are going to be revealed that the emperor is naked. And the emperor has no clothing. And you are not stupid. You right now are being treated like if you were stupid. But you are not stupid. Those are 2 different things. And a 5-year-old will make you see the truth, which is why a 5-year-old can bring you to heaven. Now, I have a question, because here's the deal. Not everybody wants to go to heaven. And not everybody is ready to deal with the truth. And not everybody likes the idea of having freedom in terms of dealing with the truth. because most people are just happy living lies. Now, if you are the type of person that just wants to deal with the lie because it's easier, and right now you're too tired, too frank, or too whatever, and you just can't cope with it anymore, then please leave the video now. Just leave it. You already got the information that I needed you to get. And so now I'm going to tell you something that is so shocking that you will need a 5-year-old to try to understand it. Okay? Are you sure? Okay. So you remember that several years ago, there was a huge issue in New York. There were 2 buildings that were taken down by, the machines we used to fly. You will also remember that during those days, the skies were completely clear. You will also remember that there was no people panicking before the events, in the morning, like 7 or 8 in the morning. There was nobody rushing to try to get out of the cities. There was nobody thinking that there was going to be an apocalypse. And all of the police and the firefighters were just kind of like drinking coffee, like if nothing was going to happen. Or if anything happens, they will be able to handle it because, what can happen in a beautiful day, right? So I have a question. A 5-year-old just learned that on that day, you were supposed to have a hurricane. Meaning, a hurricane should have been in your area, and instead, the skies were completely clear. So I have a question. The 5-year-old will go, Mom, what is a hurricane? And then you go to explain, well, a hurricane is a huge storm that happens. Yeah, Mom, but by definition, storms means, scary things, and means that the sky is dark, and it also means that the sky has a lot of sounds like thunder and a lot of things. So why, what do you mean we are going to have a hurricane if the sky is completely clear? So you can say, well, it's because, the eye of the hurricane is supposed to be completely clear. Oh, okay. Mom or Dad, I'm sorry, I don't get it. What do you mean you don't get it? Well, if this hurricane is supposed to be hitting New York at around 10 in the morning today, then why are we not leaving? What do you mean? Well, the news this morning said that we have a hurricane and category 3. What is a category 3 hurricane mean, Mom? What is that? What does that mean? Why do hurricanes have a number? And I would like to know, Mom, why in Florida, if there is a hurricane, people panic, and there is a lot of things that happen when there is a hurricane, and you will see the news, being scary and everything. But if a hurricane is coming here, does that mean that we should go home? Mom, what are we supposed to do with our pets? Mom, I'm not leaving my dog. Yeah. So, at this point, you are like, sweetie, there is no hurricane. Mom, but this morning, at 8 in the morning, there was a hurricane coming here to New York. But then the kid is already seeing that a lot of people are, let's say that it is now 10 in the morning. So of course now you will see the kid is seeing that everybody is running, talking on the phone, crying and everything. And the kid is thinking that all of this is because the hurricane. The kid doesn't see the thing that happened in the buildings. The kid is worried about the hurricane. So the kid is worried about a flood and the pet. The kid is not worried about the attacks. So I have another question. when you explain the kid, that there was an attack and all of these things, the kid goes, okay, but Mom, what happened to the hurricane? I mean, do terrorists know when to stop or how to stop a hurricane? Because the hurricane stopped right exactly when the time of the flying things, and the thing left. So, Mom, does that mean that you can control a hurricane? And if you can control a hurricane, why in Florida do they have to leave Florida if they can just move the hurricane? And then you go, I'm sorry. I mean, Mom, why don't we tell Florida what we can do so that they don't have to leave their homes? I'm sorry, what? Well, Mom, it's just that it's not fair. I mean, those kids also have dogs. We need to protect the kids' dogs, and it's unfair that the dogs are they don't know how to swim. So why don't we share this secret that we have? Because in New York, the hurricane did not hit, and nobody told you. What do you mean? And then you go, the kid is crazy. Yeah. The kid is completely crazy. But it does have a point. If New York was supposed to be hit by a hurricane that day at 10 in the morning, and not only that, but the hurricane was, my God, a hurricane of that size. Oh, by the way, the name of that hurricane is Erin, and if you wanted to look that up, you can. And it proves a lot of things. Number one, the kid just asked, if that hurricane was supposed to hit here in New York, but we did not leave, and the hurricane did not come, why did that happen, and why doesn't it apply to Florida? Meaning, obviously, you can control the hurricane. Now, as an adult, what do you think are the implications of this kind of news? You can literally say a lot of things. Number one, the actual news on the TV should not have been about the planes, and in fact, no plane should have even have the option of taking off and on. When there are hurricanes in Florida, all flights are grounded. So, several things happened. You're not supposed to have a clear sky if you have a Hurricane 3 that is about to land in 2 hours. I mean, if it's going to land in 3 weeks or 3 days or maybe even tomorrow, okay, fine, I get it. But 2 hours? 2 hours? Seriously? And you have no clue that in 2 hours there is going to be a storm? Not even a little? And the news is not telling you? Oh, actually, wait, they did tell you. Oh yeah, there is air incoming, but we have clear sky, don't worry about it. It's a Hurricane 3, but don't worry about it, we're fine. Wait, what? But, yeah, we're fine, we are New York. We're not Florida, we don't have to run, we don't have to do anything. We are New York. See, we are New York, this is not happening. What do you mean? Well, this is not happening because we're New York. We don't get storms. We don't get hurricanes. We don't get storms. We don't get anything. We will be fine. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, we will be fine. After all, we are New York and we can beat anything because we are better than Florida. Right. So, I don't need to tell you that. I don't need to be a scientist to understand that something is up. Or something is definitely beyond wrong. There, right there, you have a problem. Because you have news that are lying. You, in terms of the clear skies and everything. Because yes, you did have clear skies that day. But no, you were not supposed to have clear skies that day. And you have news that are telling you that you have a hurricane category 3 coming, but you should stay put and you should just continue your life as normal. But if you're in Florida and a hurricane is coming, 1 week before you're telling everybody, oh yeah, run for your life, because we're in Florida and we cannot take it. If you were a 5-year-old, you will be kind of like that. So, at this point, I'm going to play something for you. And I hope that, maybe you will be able to recognize this.
A huge hurricane right outside of New York City on 9/11.
If only a hurricane had come on 9/11.
There was actually a hurricane happening right outside New York during the bringing down of the towers. What is that about?
There was a big hurricane on the morning of 9/11, just off the coast.
There's that shot from space where you see the hurricane and you see the smoke coming up out of the WTC.
This was on 9/11.
A hurricane such as Erin could be so devastating to Manhattan. It would make 9/11 look like a picnic.
And you could see from the data that it went in a straight line for 4 days.
For 4 days it was going straight towards Manhattan, no land masses in between. Stopped.
Gorgeous weather today and for the next several days. Rain yesterday afternoon, now well offshore, just a little bit making its way off the Outer Banks. No rain today or tomorrow. Cloud cover too with that cold front is making its way offshore too. So we're going to have just a beautiful day today.
It was commented that 9/11 was a fantastic 1 in 1,000 day, beautiful clear skies, no clouds, clement conditions, wonderful day. But people didn't talk about the hurricane.
Take a look at the highlights for today. New York City, beautiful day here. 80 degrees today. St. Louis, 83.
They had the weather forecasters on the news speaking about how sunny it was in the area. Shouldn't they say, oh, it's sunny, but there's a hurricane?
Look for possible flooding in southern Texas, central and southern Florida, where the rain will be heavy.
We've got 4 morning weather outlooks from 9/11.
None of them on their weather maps show Hurricane Erin.
In fact, if you look at one of the weather maps, you could see it says rough seas on it, but it doesn't show the hurricane.
Weather over Manhattan is nice as can be. But here's what should have been shown. About 10 minutes to 15 minutes before the events of 9/11 began, this is what the weather chart looked like. As now I've superimposed where the hurricane should have been. This is the approximate size of the hurricane and the location at that moment. The cloud cover of the outer bands of the hurricane, it was raining on Cape Cod. They're that close.
For today, we've got a lot of cool weather in the northern states. We've got some hot weather continuing in the southwest and 80s as you get into the southeast with a lot of rain, up to 7 inches of rain in parts of Florida. Partly sunny in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle today, sunshine at 75, sunny in the northeast and low humidity. Speaking of hair, what's the deal here?
Some of them talk about Hurricane Erin. ABC, for example, didn't mention Hurricane Erin, didn't mention a hurricane at all, didn't have it on the map, didn't even talk about the cold front or discuss it. Fox News was the best, actually.
We're going to have just a beautiful day today. This is a real cold front, folks. That means it's a boundary line of the very cool, dry air, and it is going to make its way well offshore, help to push Hurricane Erin up to the north. It's not going to affect us at all.
They mentioned it by name, but it was nothing to worry about. It's heading out of town, but they focused a lot on this high-pressure system. And it was a real serious high-pressure system, folks, and it was moving in, and it shows right where it is. For 4 days, it was going in a beeline straight for New York City.
Kind of slowed down, it kind of stalled.
It pulled right up just outside New York City, like it pulled up to a chalk line and stopped at 8 a.m. on 9/11.
Suddenly, it takes a sharp right turn and scoots off out into the Atlantic.
Literally reported for duty, and then it went off.
Approximately 500 miles in diameter, Hurricane Erin was approximately the same size as the later Hurricane Katrina, and yet the public was not widely alerted to it.
If there's a storm looming right outside of town, you should be concerned how long it's going to be there because of the storm surges.
It could have flooded Manhattan, but this wasn't reported. This wasn't reported as a risk.
Erin came closest to New York City on the 9/11 itself.
The storm was the biggest at around 8 a.m. that morning. Not just as fast, it covered a wider area. Weather stations love to milk these things for all they can get. That would be huge news.
That would be all over the radio and TV all morning long.
Don't you want to tell people they might need to evacuate just in case? It was so played down that nobody knows that there's a hurricane there.
Curiously, they had scientists from 10 different universities actually doing measurements on Hurricane Erin.
If you look at the speed of the hurricane, the pressure of the eye of the hurricane, and its location, for about 24 hours, 12 hours on either side of the events of 9/11, is constant. It's like a very controlled environment.
On this Tuesday, the night of the Latin Grammys, sunny skies down through Texas, all the way from the bottom of Texas to the top of North Dakota. Little rain to the right of North Dakota, parts of North Dakota may see a little rain. To the west of the country, no problem. To the east of the country, no problems except down in Florida, little rain. Northeast, we'll see little rough seas along the New England coastline from that hurricane that's going away. Miles and miles of sunshine. Miles Davis, we're going to put Miles out there today. Nice as it could be across the Northeast. Rough seas still. From the chop from that hurricane, but other than that, it's kind of quiet around the country. We like quiet. It's quiet. It's too quiet. Too quiet. Too quiet. Too quiet.
I want to show you, though, just to the east of New York, what our satellites were picking up September 11th, 2001. That is Hurricane Erin. At the time, it was a Category 1 hurricane. And if we look at what was happening just about 400 miles to the west of there in lower Manhattan, this is from our MODIS satellite from NASA. And you can actually, if you look very closely there in lower Manhattan, you can see the smoke coming down from the Twin Towers there on September 11th. That very brisk northerly flow, a cold front had moved through and deflected this hurricane from threatening, or at least getting to New York City. But you can still see the smoke there on our satellite. An incredible picture there in New York.
So you have two possible reasons for it being there. One is it was a coincidence, or it did have something to do with it.
So, there you have it. The emperor has no clothing, but people are still thinking that he's wearing something so awesome that they just can't see it because they're stupid. So, did your 5-year-old already woke up? Or is you are still fighting it because you think the little kid is crazy? Whatever you do, it is up to you to decide if it was a coincidence or not. And if it was, then you have some serious questions about why. If there was a possibility that this thing was not going to happen the way that they planned or something like that, like they did in Florida. After all, I mean, in Florida, if there is a hurricane coming, they already know it's going to be bad, regardless of that thing hitting the mass or not. But whatever you do your own research. And whatever you do, make your own decision based upon the data that you can actually gather and you can actually see for yourself. And then you will understand the implications of the emperor being naked and the emperor thinking that it was okay for it to spend a lot of money into making it look like if it was clothed, but at the end of the day, it was just a lie. In the story, the emperor was naked, but the emperor per se may have thought that he was not.